Hi YouTube, welcome to Kaurmoments. Thank you so much for tuning in for today's video. We are going to be talking about how I edit my Instagram photos. Yay! Okay, this video has been requested for the longest time and I have just honestly been running away from recording this because it's so much work to record a video. But since I'm getting back into YouTube, I thought this was a good way to start. So, my editing style has changed tons from past 3 to 4 years since I started Instagram, and I am so grateful and thankful for every one of you who has supported me in all of my Instagram journey and are loving my work. I am still learning and still improving my editing skills, my photography skills. So first off, I want to talk about two apps that I use the most for editing my photos. One would be Lightroom and one is Vsco. I use Lightroom for almost all of my photos, even though if I'm taking some photos with the phone or with my full frame camera, especially the full frame camera photos, I'm always editing them in Lightroom because I want those raw files and I edit that on the computer. For the other photos, for example, the photos I'm taking on the phone and stuff, I would sometimes just go to Vsco and edit them there. Well, that's where I started, from Vsco. Sorry about that. I live with my parents and I do not have a studio where I can just go and record. This is my room. Okay, back to talking about editing the photos. So Vsco is a great platform to start. That's where I started from. I actually have used a lot of editing apps, but the two apps that or actually three apps that I use right now would be Lightroom, Vsco, and Teza app. Today we're going to be talking about the Vsco app, and I'm going to show you some of the photos that I took with my phone and how I edit on the app. So we're going to be editing 3 photos total. I'm editing all 3 in different ways. For example, like each photo has different components in it. For example, one photo is with a lot of like shade, one is in bright sunlight and stuff like that. So this is what my home screen looks like, and I'm gonna go into my photo editing folder. These are all the editing apps that I use. I do not use Snapseed as much, and the preview app is actually for my Instagram. You can open up, for example, I'll just show you here. So preview, these are all my Instagram photos that I've posted, and then I can add on more photos on the app just to see how it would fit on my Instagram feed and if this is where it should go, or I can like move it around. So that's what the preview is. So I used to edit a lot on Afterlight, but I have stopped now because I find Vsco much more versatile for photos. So let's just head straight into Vsco. So I have my photos up, the ones that I'm going to be editing. First up, we have this photo right here. We took this when we went to LA, and I thought this was a great photo to show you guys how I edit, because I am not in any kind of sunlight or shade, but I just have a lot of natural light on my face. So this is going to be an easy edit. So this is how the Vsco app looks when you open it up with the photo. You have all of these options here: exposure, contrast, all of these blah 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 blah. But before I change any of these in this photo, because it's not needed, I'm going to go to this preset app. Now I have the Vsco Pro, which I pay $20 a year, which is just a great deal because you can edit your videos on this too. So it's amazing. So that's why I have all the Vsco presets, all the filters that they have to offer, and any new ones that they come out with. So my favorite ones that I use regularly would be all the way down here in the A's. So I love A4, A5, A6, like these 3 are my top filters that I would just go ahead and use one. So I'm gonna start with A6 for this photo because I just think this would look good with like more contrast. So this is what the photo looks with the filter on. Now you can go into the actual filter and reduce or just make it however you want, and I'm gonna keep it around 8. And now I'm gonna start changing or editing the other basic filters on it. So exposure, I don't think I need to do anything with exposure. I'll keep it the way it is. I will reduce the contrast a bit because it's very high contrast image. I'm gonna go in the highlights and take them away a bit because my face is very highlighted, and so are the bed sheets in this photo. So take that away, just around 4.6 is fine. Now just go through all of these, and I'm gonna go to the HSL. So what is HSL? So you can basically change saturation and lightness of each and every color in the photo, which is where you get into really like custom photo editing instead of just slapping a filter on and you're good to go. So I'm gonna start with, I always start with orange first because my skin tone is orange and I wanna adjust it and fix it and see how I like it. So for example, if I'm increasing the saturation for orange, my face gets really, really dark orange. So I'm gonna keep it there, might increase the lightness or might lower it down actually because my face looks washed out in this photo. Now I'm gonna go to the yellows. For the yellows, you will notice most of my photos have very low yellows because I don't like yellows in my photo as much. So I'm gonna decrease the saturation of yellow and maybe increase the lightness of it. And now I'm going to go into the red. So you'll see if I'm moving the red, you will see the flowers get brightened up, which is what I want. I don't want it to look too red, so I'm going to make it a little bit orangey. So this is how you do it on the actual Hue tab. And let's see, let's keep this over here. Now coming to the blues. I do not like blues in my photo. The only type of blue that I would be okay with is the vintage cyan kind of color. So I'm gonna change my denim color to that kind of color, sliding this. So you see how the color would change on my jeans. And then I'll just decrease the saturation as well. And then you can play around with the lightness of the color. I'll just keep it the way it is at right now. And I think that's all I want to do on the HSL right now. So far, I think the way this photo looks, I like it, but I do want to add a little bit of temperature, just increase it a bit because I like my photos to be warm. So this is where we do that, just warm it up a bit. And I don't want to change the tint. It looks good to me the way it is. This is how it was before, and that's how it looks now. I am going to add a little bit of grain because I just like grainy photos in general, but this is a personal preference. However you guys want to do it, go for it. So far, this looks good. The last thing I would do with the photo is, or I mean, sometimes it is the first thing that I do with the photo is just crop it so I know where the photo is going to land on Instagram. And I use the 4:5 Instagram crop ratio, so my photo fits exactly how I edit it. So let's keep it right here. And that would be it. So you just do next and you save it. That's my first photo that I edited. So let's head on to the second one, which is this photo. So what I love about this photo in general is that it has so much going on in the photo. There are so many lines, and I absolutely love taking photos of lines or shadows or just finding light pockets somewhere. These photos are taken with your phone, so you don't always need a fancy camera to take nice pictures. You just need to have the eye for it. Okay, on to the second photo. Is the palm trees or the palm leaves are just giving me life. Okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go all the way down to my A filters and A6 looks amazing, but I want more of a warm tone. So I'm gonna use A4 here. And oh, I love the way it looks right now. We just need to fix just small things, mainly the yellows in the photo and the blues. And I think that should be it. So let's just repeat the same steps. I'm just gonna go all the way down to HSL and decrease the saturation for yellows. You see how it made so much difference? Just made the photo much more brighter and lighter. So decrease the yellows and maybe just increase a little bit of lightness to it so the leaves shadows pop. And for the oranges, I'm gonna also brighten that up so you can see my face, maybe add some saturation to it. I'm gonna change the hue as well because my face looks pink. Let's play with the reds as well. Yeah, there we go. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and play with the blues now and just decrease the saturation for blue and change it to the color that I like. And also, I think this looks good. Okay, we'll keep it there. Now, I want to go ahead and increase the contrast a bit because I want the leaves, the shadow of the leaves on my face to pop. And I think I'm gonna take it all the way here. Exposure, you can play around with exposure a bit, but I think I like the way it looks right now. Maybe increase it by just 0.1. So for clarity, if you wanna, I am not the kind of person who likes clarity. I like the photos to be hazy or the way they're taken. But for photos like these, you could play around with clarity a bit just so these shadows are more prominent. So that's how my photo looks right now, and that's how it looked before. I'm gonna put a before and after on the screen for you. I don't feel the need to crop it. Let's see. We could crop it to a just square crop, just so it looks good on Instagram. Okay, well, I think I like a square crop, so let's just keep it square instead of the horizontal. And that would be it for this pic. Next, and save. Okay, the last photo is going to be this photo. This actually, I took this photo myself. I didn't even have a tripod. I had to put my phone on my car hood with a water bottle in the back just so it doesn't fall. So yeah, I think I should do a video on how I take my own photos as well. I think that would be a good one because majority of my photos I just take them myself, especially when I'm at home. I just have a tripod and I just connect my camera with my phone so I can see what's happening and just take a photo. Yeah, I think that's a good video idea. I should do it. Okay, so for this one, so you know how I just use A4 and A6? We are gonna use a cold filter now because this photo is taken in bright sun and it was noon. You can see my shadow. Just not a good time to take a photo, but whatever. We're gonna go all the way down to the C filters and use C4. Yes, it's so like grungy and what is it called? Cool toned. Not my vibe. We're gonna change this, but I just wanted the temperature to just kind of like lower down a bit. So C4, we're gonna change it back to a little bit. I mean, 8 is good. So first thing that I noticed in this photo is the sky. Big turn off. So I'm gonna go ahead and change the sky color. And I'm gonna actually completely lower the saturation of it because I like it gray much better than blue. And change the hue a bit. You can change the lightness to a bit higher. And now I'm gonna go in the reds because my face looks super red. I've zoomed in for you. So let's start playing with that so my skin tone looks a bit natural. So I'm gonna increase the lightness, no much difference. For the orange, let's try with orange. Okay, it's moving a bit. Decrease the saturation, increase it all the way down, and then for the yellow, let's increase it a bit more. Okay, that looks much better. And now since the whole photo has way too much yellow in it, I'm gonna start playing around with the yellow. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Decrease saturation of yellow and then increase the light to all the way up. And for the greens, I like the greens the way they are. I'll just reduce it just by just a little bit. This is good. And maybe make it a bit more yellow instead of more bluer. And I think that looks good with the HSL. I'm gonna go in the exposure and just up the exposure a bit. So just to lift up some shadows in the photo. And add some contrast to the photo. Probably doesn't need it, just add a little bit. And then I'm gonna add grain because since this photo looks super like vintage to me, I'm gonna add a lot of grain. Let's see, that's good. Okay, and now just to crop the pic itself, 4:5 ratio, and make sure I'm in center, and that should do it. Oh, just kidding. Forgot one thing. I'm gonna go back and increase the temperature a bit because it still looks super cold to me. So let's make it up to here. That's good. Might want to add more exposure to it. Okay, I think that's the way I like it right now, so I'm gonna keep this. Let's see, what can I do? Okay, maybe I can change. Oh, okay. Forgot to talk about one really cool feature Vsco has, which is the skin tone feature right here. If I play around with it, you'll see that my skin color actually changes from like red undertones to yellow. So I want to make it more yellowish because right now it's very pink. So if I change it all the way to here, I look a little bit normal. So yeah, this is what my final edit would be. So that's how it looks. Next, and save. Alright guys, that was it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and also learned something from this. I really want to do how I edit my photos in Lightroom. That's just gonna require a little bit more time for me because I'm still deciding if I should do it on the laptop or the phone version, because I have both, and you can edit these photos in Lightroom as well. And I have pre-made presets that I usually use. I just made those myself, and I just like slap it onto every photo to see how it looks and just tweak them here and there. So maybe I can just talk about that in that video. And I also want to do one more video on Tezza app because I have been editing a lot of my photos with the film and vintage vibe. I think Tezza app would be a great touch to your photos. So I might do that as well. And I'll also probably teach you how to add dust and all of those cool vintage features. I get a lot of questions on how I add dust and how I make my photos vintage and more film-like. So that would be also a good video to do. Alright guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Like this video, subscribe, and comment if you have any more questions or any suggestions. I would be happy to take any of your requests. Well, not any, but you get the point. Alright, bye guys.